What's good? Welcome into Titans Today. I'm Abby Alonzo. The draft wrapped up, but we're still going to talk about it because Mel Kiper released his draft grades today. And I got to say, he handed out B's, B pluses, like you were sitting at an Oprah Winfrey show. I mean, you get a B, you get a B. And literally, I think the lowest grade he gave was a B minus in the entire, of all 32 teams, so he did give the Titans a B plus. Take that how you will, because again, he handed them out to literally almost everyone. Few A's here and there, but pretty much everybody got B's, somewhere in that range. So Tennessee Titans got a B plus. And remember, going into the draft, they needed to fill the wide receiver position that they didn't address until the 7th round. That's a controversial topic that people are arguing about whether they did the right thing or not. We'll get into that. They needed, possibly, maybe, depending on who you are, you thought they needed to fill the quarterback position, guard, center, tight end, and corner. So going into this draft, those were their most primary needs on the roster. Mel Kiper believes they did a good job of filling most of those positions, gave them a B+. Before we break down why Mel Kiper gave the Titans a B+ for their draft class, make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications. Words today. We only had 6,723 subs last week. Throughout the weekend, we gained about 500, I want to say. Because we are putting out so much content, we had you covered on everything going on around the draft. We gave you grades, the UDFA signings that happened. You knew about them. The channel is putting out a lot of content, so this is the place to be if you want to be updated on everything going on with the Titans. Hit the sub button and turn on your notifications by selecting all. Let's move into it. Mel Kiper is a Will Levis fan. He says, I'm a believer in Will Levis, who was picked at 33. I think he will be Tennessee's starting quarterback, maybe even as soon as this season. He has all the tools to be a long-time starter in the NFL, and I was stunned he lasted into round 2. Does he have flaws? Absolutely. He was downright reckless at times last season, trusting his strong arm to fit throws into tight spaces, but instead getting picked off. He took too many sacks, but he has a high ceiling, and I think he could thrive with pro talent around him. A little bit more on Will Levis. Again, this guy is the prototype for an NFL quarterback. He looks great. If you're just looking at him, size and strength, this is the guy you would grab if you were just basing off of looks, right? He is the prototype of a quarterback. He's got strong mobility, arguably the strongest arm in the draft, as Mel Kiper put it. Sometimes he overcompensates with that, though, trying to make things happen where they shouldn't happen. He did have a little bit of a toe injury this past season that made him miss 2 games. Surgery is still up in the air. And as Kiper also said, he makes some really reckless decisions and silly mistakes. So, again, this is looking like your QB1 of the future, Tennessee. I know this is a split decision right down the middle of the fan base. Whether you like Will Levis or not is how you portray this draft to have gone. Did you like the Will Levis move? I don't think anybody saw this coming because nobody saw him falling into round 2. We talked about Tennessee trading up, and we thought, okay, if they trade up, surely they're going to try to grab C.J. Stroud and maybe Anthony Richardson, Hendon Hooker, whoever. I don't think anyone could have guessed that Will Levis was going to fall to the 2nd round, and the Titans were then going to trade up to go get him. Again, half of the fans are excited, half are PO'd. Let me know what you thought about the Will Levis move. Type L if you liked it. Type H if you hated it. Feel free to elaborate. You guys know I do read the comments. Before we continue on with Mel Kiper's draft grade and why he believes that the Titans earned a B+, there is a new jersey on the market. Will Levis's draft jersey is now available on Fanatics. If you go to chatsports.com/Levis jersey, you will be able to grab that. Like I said, if you're a fan, if you're a believer in Will Levis, you should definitely go get this jersey. It's pretty sweet. This is the official draft jersey. Head to chatsports.com/Levis jersey. Moving forward with the rest of Mel Kiper's analysis for the Titans draft. He said, in the rest of Carthen's group, Peter Skoronski was my top-ranked offensive lineman in the entire class, and running back Tyjae Spears is extremely talented, assuming his medical reports check out. Offensive tackle Jaelyn Duncan has starter tools if he can put everything together. So, again, this wasn't a bad draft. Just there are a few red flags all over the place, except for Peter Skoronski, of course. This was the best decision they could have made in round 1. He's had 33 starts at left tackle over 3 years at Northwestern. He moves well, brings very good technique and work ethic. We know that he's a leader on that offense. He did a lot of the play calling and just a very good guy to have up front. And then we had this prior to the draft, how a team views his size length could determine whether he plays tackle or guard. He has acknowledged this question on whether he'll play tackle or guard. He actually spoke on it at the combine that he believes he's versatile enough to play either. This was a great grab by the Tennessee Titans. Peter Skoronski, absolute gem. Great move. Moving on to Tyjae Spears, running back out of Tulane in New Orleans, Louisiana. Shout out to my hometown. This is a great quarterback. I mean, he's not a quarterback, a running back. This is a great running back. Problem is the knees, right? He's got the ACL injury that just really, you don't even know if he's going to check out on the medical side of things, okay? Great slasher runner with 3-down ability and great production at Tulane. He's got good vision and nice cuts in his running. He's explosive. Good guy to have in your backfield, especially just imagine him with Derrick Henry. I mean, this is great. It's just a matter of, is he healthy enough to actually play? The knee injuries are a concern. So maybe they know something we don't know. Maybe they've already checked him out and he's good to go. Fingers crossed that he can be a weapon for the Titans this upcoming season and hopefully longer in the future. And then we're going to move on to Josh Whyle here. Look, he was a little bit underused, but he's a solid blocker with great testing. You don't have a lot of receivers right now, so Josh Whyle being added, he's, I think, 6'7". This is kind of like a Mike Vrabel guy. Like, he just sounds like Mike Vrabel loved him. Obviously, you saw them. I don't know if anybody else saw them. After they picked Josh Whyle, they waved at the camera. They are very sold on Whyle. They love this move, and if they like it, I guess you like it, right? You trust them. He held Cincinnati's all-time record, actually currently holds it, for receiving touchdowns by a tight end. That's a plus, considering the receiver room that is in Tennessee right now. Having a tight end that has proven himself with receiving touchdowns and just on the reception end of things, that's a plus. He did have other injuries in his college career. This is a common occurrence, apparently, between Spears and now Whyle. I can't speak on the injuries. I don't know if I can't tell the future. I don't know if this is going to come into play down the line, but they did have injuries. Hopefully they're not repetitive or they don't come back. And of course, Jaelyn Duncan, who was then drafted after Whyle. He was a 4-year starter with over 2,600 career snaps, a really fluid mover and athlete with potential to be a starting left tackle. Still a mess technically. And look, these are our analyst here, Tom Downey's scouting notes, and he put it very bluntly, still a mess technically, which is concerning given all the experience. Yes, Jaelyn Duncan, technique, not the strong suit. Maybe a little bit lazy, if I'm going to be honest. There's just kind of a lack in work ethic. Hopefully making it to the NFL, things kind of turn around. Really don't know until you play it out the first year, right? Grade the Titans draft class. Give them a grade. Again, Mel Kiper gave them a B+. I gave them, I think, a C over the weekend. A lot of you disagreed with me, thought they deserved an A. A lot thought I was being too nice and said F. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. Give them an A, B, C, D, or F. And we'll round out with Mel Kiper's last bit of analysis here. He says, I still have questions about the receivers on this depth chart, but maybe Carthen can work some magic in the veteran market after the draft. One thing is for sure, the AFC South got much more interesting after this draft. Boy, did it. 3 quarterbacks went to the AFC South. You've now got 4 young quarterbacks in the AFC South. It will absolutely be interesting to watch. Let's just hope that the Titans are on the positive side of interesting, if you know what I mean. So he did acknowledge that the receiver room is not quite fixed, which most people went into this draft thinking, okay, surely they're going to address this early, right? They didn't until the 7th round with Colton Dowell, who went to their local workout, right? He went to UT Martin, went to the workout, and then ended up getting drafted by the Titans. Great story. That's awesome for the kid. I love stories like that. Can he be the receiver that the Titans need? Or do they maybe need to look elsewhere? Free agency, a trade, the XFL? I don't know. Probably still need to take a look at that receiver room. Look, Dowell, he's good overall. Athletically, he's a bigger-bodied receiver. That's good. Above average route runner with excellent hands. That's good. But he doesn't do too much after the catch. And look, I'm not knocking him at all. I just think the Titans probably should have addressed the receiver position earlier in the draft or gone out and gotten somebody, a bigger vet in free agency, because the current state of the receiver room is making me nervous. It's making Mel Kiper question things. Like, I maybe you have a lot of faith in Treylon Burks, or maybe you have a plan set up. We're just going to let Ryan Carthen and Mike Vrabel do their jobs, and we'll just talk about it on the show. Should the Titans have drafted a wide receiver earlier? Let me know. I think maybe at least look at receivers. I know they talked about the fact that it just wasn't in their plans to draft a receiver early. Ryan Carthen quite literally said that, but I think they still should have maybe grabbed one earlier than the 7th. I hope Dowell comes out and he is a snag and a steal, the steal of the draft. That would be great. But again, you don't know until that first year happens. So type Y for yes, they should have gotten a wide receiver earlier. Type N for no if you think they did the right thing, grabbing Dowell in the 7th and going to sign these UDFA wide receivers. As always, we appreciate y'all for watching. It's been a long weekend, but we're not stopping. We will have content coming at you all week, so make sure to subscribe. We'll see y'all soon. Tighten up.